Oh my gosh, this is huge here. Wait, hold on. This is like one of my big boxes. They're very heavy. Um, it's part of my Chucky collection of Blu-rays, DVDs, and I'm going to share with you my personal favorites that I've collected. I'm going to show you a strict selection, not everything because that would be crazy, but just my favorites worldwide. Like which editions, if you want to get the best, most beautiful artistic editions of Chucky movies, who made the best cover, artwork, edition, what have you. We're going to get to that now. So, I have a big collection here. Okay, so this is an edition from Europe. It came out, I think, a year or two ago. And it is a German edition. So you get this gorgeous Child's Play box, the Good Guys box container. Very sturdy cardboard, like very, very sturdy. And inside of here, you collect your movies. Hold on, let me put them all in. Like that. Number one is missing because another company did number one, and I do have number one. I'm going to show it to you as well because, you know, there's like different copyrights, like somebody owns the rights to movie one, somebody owns the rights to movie two, so it's not always easy to collect all of them, but they come in these gorgeous books. And Chucky 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what do we got here? We got Chucky 2, Chucky Part 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, and Cult of Chucky. Now, here in particular, I have Chucky 2. So this is how the cover looks like. This is the back art. They're all numbered. These were limited edition. They made only 666 of them. Now, they made 2 covers of each movie. Obviously, they want you to spend the money. And if you collect these things, it's always kind of a little bit painful because Part 2 has 2 different covers. Part 3 has 2 different covers. Part 4 has 2 different covers. So this is cover, I think, A, the classic poster for Chucky 2. You do get the Blu-ray disc. Look at the artwork. It's amazing. And then we have a faded Chucky sweater design here in the background. And then you have a little bit of a text there, but it is not in English. You get scenes from the movie. This is Andy, the original boy that in Part 1 and Part 2 is with Chucky. And Chucky's kind of trying to possess Andy's body. At least in Chucky 1 he is. And then in Chucky 2 he wants revenge. Then we got Chucky attacking from the closet. Chucky's always hiding in the closet. I wonder why that duality. Why do you, now you get it, right? Don Mancini and this whole kind of coming out of the closet concept. Chucky 2 is visually one of the best Chucky's ever made, in particular because of the toy factory towards the end of the movie. We see Chucky in the toy factory with hundreds of dolls, hundreds of Good Guys dolls packed in boxes, and you kind of see them here in the background. You know, we get to see as Chucky turns more and more, his internal organs start to form, so he can also start bleeding. His nose is bleeding at a certain point, and they kind of burn him in Part 2. He's kind of all melted because they put him into the melting goo. Chucky kind of turns into this blob towards the end of Part 2. There he is trying to attack. our main female character. Actually, uh, she's coming back as well. The actress whose name now is, I actually know her, but I've been talking too long, so I'm forgetting my names again. Andy, there he is. Andy's coming back in the new Chucky series. He's all grown up now, but he's also been in Cult of Chucky. So the actor has been inside of other iterations of Chucky since he was a kid. So he keeps coming back. You know, Don Mancini keeps calling him, and the actor just comes back. And I gotta say that that's really cool to stay united with your troupe, to kind of stay like a family, to always be very faithful to all the team you've been working with. I think that's really great. She looks like Alyssa Milano, says Jesus. Here's another scene from the factory. Beautiful design. This is Chucky. So Child's Play was very successful. So they greenlit Child's Play 2 or Chucky 2 really right after the release of the first movie, because it was just that successful. So they went on and started shooting pretty soon. Don Mancini did not direct part 2 though. This is an iconic shot. So you can see how beautiful this booklet is. There's a lot of scenes, and there are also interviews here. There's also text parts, but they're unfortunately not in English. But you get to see all these beautiful shots in good definition, good quality, really beautiful saturation. The images are just great. You get to see Chucky with all of his facial features and expressions. And again, he's a comedian too. So this is not your classic horror movie where there's just like evil, evil, evil. No, there's a sense of humor in the pain of the world that is portrayed, you know, through these characters. Andy's amazing, and if you see Andy, the character Andy, all grown up, you can still recognize him, his facial features. It's still him, like when he was a kid. Look at this. This is why I mean it's so iconic. The factory, the toy factory shot from Child's Play 2 or from Chucky 2. This was just so beautiful. I mean, they had a budget. You know what I mean? Come through budget. Look how gorgeous this was. Now, some of you might be asking, oh my God, they made so many Chucky dolls. No, obviously not. A lot of them were just printed boxes. Some of them who had a little bit more close-up shots had like a display window at the on the front of the packaging, but they only had like the face of Chucky. It was not a real doll inside, but it was just a vacuum form plastic shape of it that has a little bit of a three-dimensionality to it, but it wasn't an actual doll. And then at the back of it, at the end of this booklet, you get a CD, and the CD is the audio booklet, but not in English, unfortunately, that accompanies this whole release. There's an interview there. They also read all of these texts that you can. The texts that you can read throughout the book are also all on the CD, and then there's like an interview. So this is part 2. And there is, I think this is cover A, and then there's also cover B. So cover A was produced 666 times, 666, the number of the devil, right? And this is copy number 501, like the Levi's jeans, you know, the 501 jeans, it says there. Hold on, let me check. Okay, so, oh, by the way, they designed this so beautifully. So when you like purchase this container, you actually have to buy the DVDs separately. The only one that comes with this is, oh no, this is cover B. Okay, so this is cover B. So when I bought this, it came with only the second part. It came with this little protective thing, and they thought of everything. And because it's empty, it also came with this. Oh no, wait, it had a thicker. It came with 2 of these, but I don't know where it is now. But anyway, it also comes with this filler, and the filler is there so that this wouldn't wobble around while your container is not full of Blu-rays. So it also comes with this, just a filler, but it has all the aesthetic of the good guys. Don't let him share your secrets. Collect all the good guys accessories. We had a little blood stain there as well. This is, I mean, this is really, really, really good design. So this is the version that's not stained with blood. And then we got the blood stained version. So this is kind of inside of here when you buy it. Now, obviously, once you start filling it up with the Blu-rays, you got to kind of take this out. But obviously, it's the styrofoam that you have here. They also have an extra bit of styrofoam made just for this filler container. It's a simple thing. Did they need to do this? No, they could have just put styrofoam in there, but they went that extra mile and did this. So I think this is very, very commendable. Let me show you. So these are cover, so this was artwork B. Getting ahead of myself here. Hold on, you guys. I mean, he wants you for a best friend, but then with blood, they spelled on top of friend, they spelled victim. He wants you for a victim. Heidi ho! This is so cool. Really, really, really beautiful artwork. He can be a cowboy, a superstar, baseball player. What else can he be? He can be a brave Indian, a fearless fireman. Yeah, back then, cultural appropriation wasn't a thing. Hi, I'm a good guy, let's play. Batteries not included. This is the bottom of the box. Even the bottom of the box has a design on it. All right, so let me put that back in its container. And okay, let me show you the cover work. This is artwork B for Chucky 3. This one is still sealed. I do have an open one somewhere. We'll probably get to it as well. We will. This is a Chucky live stream after all, so we're digging into the archives here. Oh, I see what I did here. Okay, so gotcha. I'm slowly figuring out my archiving system for the archives here. So we got part 3, art cover B, part 3, art cover A. This is the original poster for part 3, but we're loving this alternative design. This is the part 3, what I was talking about, the military school. And this is the back, and this is the back. So these are still in their foliage. So artwork A is made 888 times, while artwork B is more limited, 666. And they did this because they knew that this was brand new design, so people would want to buy this one. Because people know this cover. This is the classic artwork for the 3rd part of Chucky. But this is kind of the special version. So they made a bit more of these than of these. So this is part 3. Now I'm going to show you the artwork for Bride of Chucky. Wait, hold on. Okay, I don't know why I did that. Well, anyway. So we got Bride of Chucky, artwork A. What am I doing here? Yeah, cover A. Bride of Chucky, cover A. Also, oh wait, this one, they released this in 777 pieces. So they produced less of this one than of part 3. Down here we got Jennifer Tilly as she's resuscitating Chucky, bringing him back to life. And then we got the good guy doll Tiffany before she was possessed by Jennifer Tilly. Next we got artwork A for Seed of Chucky, limited to 777 pieces. Here we have Chucky from Seed of Chucky. We got Glenn or Glenda. We got Jennifer Tilly, and we got Tiffany, which we just saw the speaking Tiffany together. There she is. This is a good one too. Great artwork. Artwork is made by Ralph Krause. The back is scary. We got the baby. But it's actually Chucky. Well, I don't know what it is. Looks like a baby Chucky. Then we get to see Curse of Chucky. Curse of Chucky. Hold on. And then after Curse of Chucky, there is Cult of Chucky as well. Curse of Chucky, cover A or artwork A, 777 pieces. This is copy number 771. This is almost the last copy made. Curse of Chucky is a very fascinating iteration of the Chucky franchise because it's a serious horror movie and it happens in a mansion. And it's like a spooky haunted mansion, haunted house. It's a thriller. It's like a whodunit thriller. It's like a group of people unite in the countryside in this mansion, and then deaths start happening, and they try to figure out who did it. And of course, it's Chucky. But it's a really, really, really good iteration of it. Oh, I see what I'm doing here. Oh, I see what happened here. Number 3 is not supposed to be in here. Okay. I get it now. And the last one is Cult of Chucky. Also artwork A, 777 pieces. This is number 770 that I got. And here's Andy, all grown up. Look at Andy, all grown up. There he is. And we got NECA. NECA, who is actually Brad Dourif's, in real life, Brad Dourif's daughter. Brad Dourif is the voice of Chucky in all of Chucky movies. So his daughter is now also acting in the Chucky movies as NECA. But in real life, she is Brad Dourif's daughter. And it's so fascinating and funny, the twist that she is possessed by her father at the end of the movie because Chucky is in her by the end of the movie. Very twisted. Very, very, very twisted. And Cult of Chucky is also a very fascinating twist. You should definitely see. This one, unfortunately, did not receive a theatrical release. It went straight to DVD. But it's very worthy of a theatrical release, really. It's a very, very interesting... It's like a Chucky movie that happens in an asylum. So you don't know what's reality and what is fiction, because are we crazy or is it all real? And the asylum scenario is very fascinating. And we get to see an army of Chuckies, which is really cool. For the first time ever, we see a bunch of Chuckies. It's his cult, after all. So it's the Cult of Chucky is a really good one as well. Now, I'm going to show you the pièce de résistance, this little beauty here. Now, this is the special one. My favorite one of all of them. It's Child's Play 1. Not that it's my favorite movie from the Chucky franchise, but it is my favorite iteration of it. So this little guy comes in a pull-out container. And it is a soft, it's a padded book. And Chucky, you see, it's a lenticular cover. So you have him kind of angry, and you have him, the good guy version of Chucky, good guy doll, and Chucky, possessed Chucky. Good guy doll, Chucky. Good guy doll, Chucky. So we have the lenticular cover. We have the classic iteration at the back of the good guys. Wants you for a best friend, let him share your secrets. We have the packaging in the back, just as if you were buying a toy. On the side, you have the 84. This is the release, the company that released it. It's called 84. And Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios. On the inside, we have 2 discs. What are the 2 discs? Oh, okay. So the first one is the movie. We got Chucky the Killer Doll. This is a German edition. We got all of the little booklet going on here. And then in the back, we got the bonus material, all of the extras. In the booklet, we have the two lenticular features of Chucky. This is not lenticular inside, but it shows us the happy version, the good guy's doll, and then at the end, we have the angry Chucky. And if we go through the booklet, similar to the other editions we've seen, we have photos, screenshots from the movie, stills from the movie. We have interviews going on, analysis of the movie, close-ups. This is we got Mr. Wait, who did this? I don't know. But this is the kill. This is Brad Dourif, the actor. Okay, this is Charles Ray. So this is the actual murderer, the killer who possesses Chucky, because right as they shot him, he's about to die. He invokes this voodoo type of prayer or whatever, and he transfers his soul into a doll because his body is dying, but he didn't want to die, so he's now stuck in Chucky. That's how the movie begins. And now he's inside of Chucky. And Chucky is desperately trying to possess Andy. Now in this scene, Chucky is trying to exit the body of the doll and enter a human body because the doll can't contain him. He wants to, grow up and be a murderer all over again. So here we have, thank you for subscribing, Amanda, or Amandeep Buller. Thank you. So Andy doesn't come from a rich family. His mom, again, we have this storyline, they're not rich. They're working class. The mom doesn't have a lot of money. She's a single raising parent. So she wants to give Andy a present for Christmas. They don't have money. He wants a good guy's doll. She can't afford it. But then she finds this Chucky doll sold to her by a guy who, found a thrown away Chucky, something like that. But anyway, it's the possessed version of it. So she gets him for a steal. But unfortunately, she gets the possessed Chucky. So now Andy is dealing with this doll that wants to possess him. And nobody believes Andy that Chucky is alive. Andy keeps telling everybody Chucky is alive, but nobody believes him. So it's kind of what's happening now in the TV show with Jake. Jake knows that, but Jake is not such a small kid like Andy was. So Jake is clever enough to not say immediately to the whole world, hey, it's Chucky, it's not me, because obviously he knows people would think he's crazy. So here's the police officer who's kind of falling in love with Andy's mom, and he wants to protect them. Andy's mom does realize at a certain point when she looks at the batteries of the doll, she sees that there's no batteries in the doll, then his head turns around, says, hi, So that's where we get the Easter egg in the TV show where Jake looks if the batteries are included. Andy is so cute. He's very, very similar to Andy from The Shining. In fact, it's like, 8 years after The Shining? 8 years after The Shining, we get Chucky. And doesn't this also remind us a little bit of Shelley Duvall in that particular scene in The Shining where she's kind of closing the door? So there's a lot of Don Mancini loves his movies. He knows what he's referencing and he knows what he's doing. This is when Chucky attacks Andy's mom. Look at him flying like a little creature. So cute. They use the little person in a lot of scenes for child's play. So they did not just use, puppeteering was difficult and the special effects back then in the 80s were tough. So you can imagine. So anyway, whenever the proportions allowed it, they would use a little person with a mask on and he would be walking around like Chucky. So this is one of those examples where we don't have Chucky the doll, but we actually have a little person dressed up as Chucky. Much bigger than the Chucky doll, but then they played with proportions to make him look smaller. Hey, Amandeep. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, flying nuggets is Oli. Total flying nugget. We got Charles Ray here, looking all cutesy, and then we got the freaky Chucky version, possessed with him, looking not so cutesy. And then we get the burning, melting Chucky, scary towards the end. He's all kind of being burnt up in the fireplace, but he's still alive because, you know, you can't keep a good guy down because he just keeps coming back. Mo. So this is my favorite, my little holy grail of all of the versions of the Chucky movies. Like, this one is just amazing. So I hope they're going to make more of these. I know it's always the same movie and you're like, why do you keep buying them? I love these different versions of it. The artwork is always amazing. Now let's get to this one here, which is super heavy. So there is a second collector's box because they made two different covers for every movie, right? Except for the first movie. But this now here is the... Okay, what are we talking about here? Ah, I see. So we just saw the container box for the artwork A, I think. No, artwork A. Now we're going to see artwork B. So for whoever wanted to basically collect, minus this one, this is a special one, wait. So of course number 1 is missing because these guys could not distribute part 1, which we have as a padded Blu-ray release from another company. The 84 company released part 1, and then we got this Burn & Blood Toys or Burn & Blood Videos released all the other movies because they got the rights to the other movies. So now we're going to see the cover artwork for cover B. Now cover B, okay, we've seen already part 2, which is this one, which was made 666 times. Part 3, also made 666 times. Bride of Chucky. This is kind of the classic cover. Usually it says Bride of Chucky, but because this is a German release, it has a German title. But it is the poster we all know from the 90s. It's kind of the original Bride of Chucky poster with Jennifer Tilly in the back. This one was made even less. 555 copies were only made of this one. My favorite from the franchise is Seed of Chucky, but in a lot of European releases, they renamed Seed of Chucky into Chucky's Baby, which is it still gets the point across, but it's less nasty because seed, we know that it's like sperm, so Seed of Chucky is more... Anyway, European movies kind of renamed it. In Europe, it's usually called Chucky's Baby. And in the back, we have Glenn or Glenda. Well, this is actually Glenn. When he's Glenda, he goes with more makeup. This one was made 555 times. There's 555 copies of this one out there. Curse of Chucky classic poster. Also edition of 555. This one is number 333. Classic poster for Curse of Chucky. We know this one. This has been the original release poster with NECA Bradorev's daughter. That's when she started. That's her also. That's when she started acting in the franchise. And then we got Cult of Chucky, original poster for Cult of Chucky. Also 555 copies made of this particular cover. And we got Andy in the back. Andy all grown up poking in the back there. So this would be artwork B, the B covers of the entire collection, minus part 1, which, as I said before, was not released under Burn & Blood. And then there is this little limited edition glow-in-the-dark Mark Hamill as the voice of Chucky for the reboot of Chucky, the franchise. Has nothing to do with Don Mancini. Don Mancini was quite allegedly angry that they were going to release Child's Play, which was released right before the lockdown, so what, like 2 or 3 years ago. This one did showcase in some countries in cinemas, but it was in a lot of countries straight to DVD. So it's a whole new concept of Chucky, and Don Mancini was allegedly a bit upset because he was working on creating Chucky the TV show when... Who was this? Orion Pictures with... Is this Universal? Who distributed it? I have Orion Pictures. MGM Records, distributed by Sony Classical for the soundtrack, but it's Orion Pictures and Brown. United Artists is the release of this one. They own the rights to Child's Play. So they released Child's Play with a whole new concept for Chucky that has nothing to do with Don Mancini's Chucky. And so he was very upset that they were going to do this movie. This is also a German edition. The cover glows in the dark. So you kind of fill it up with light in the spotlight. And if you turn off the lights, the whole thing pops up. It is a glow-in-the-dark cover from the producers of It. This one, I do have an open one that I actually watched. I did buy two. One to watch and one to collect. Because, you know, a Chucky collector like me does buy doubles. Now, the whole concept of that new release of Chucky was that he was not possessed by some killer. He was just a artificial intelligence gone amok. And this is kind of like showcases the dangers of what happens if you let a computer run free without it having any blocks or limitations. So Chucky keeps learning, but he's so innocent that if you say something mean, he's going to take it at face value. And if you do something mean, he's going to learn that that's okay. So he becomes a killer just because he thinks it's okay, because he's a computer learning to be that way. So it's a whole different concept of Chucky. And Don Mancini, of course, had to postpone his whole TV show because of this, because it would have been really difficult to have a movie released in the same time as a TV show. So I get it that he was upset, but honestly, I'm kind of thrilled that... And then the lockdown hit, so he had to postpone it yet again. So we Chucky fans were starting to get worried, thinking, oh my gosh, is it never going to come out? Has it been postponed so often that now it will never get made? Are the funds all being taken out again? You know, is this TV show never going to happen? But then thankfully the funding was there, the TV show happened, and we got the first episode. So this was potentially going to kill the show, but it didn't. Now, I enjoyed Child's Play. It's a very different take on Chucky. There's less comedy and character, although Mark Hamill's voice, our Jedi, Mark Hamill, his voice is really good as Chucky. I do have the soundtrack from this movie. I like the soundtrack a lot. So the movie I do enjoy it for what it is, and now knowing that this movie did not kill off the series, I'm liking the movie even more. Had the movie killed off the series, I would have been very upset. Could you imagine? Because Chucky is Don Mancini's baby. Even though, you know, once you produce it, who knows what sort of contract he had back then. He probably doesn't own the rights to his own creation, but at least he managed to always go back and keep making new iterations of Chucky. They kept allowing him to do so. It's kind of sad that they have to allow you to do it, even though you created it, but that's what happens when you sell off the rights. You know, when somebody starts producing. Hollywood, baby. That's show business. That's show business. Here's a regular release of Cult of Chucky on Blu-ray. Like, this is how, you know, this is the regular Blu-ray release and the regular poster. But you know what is very fascinating? I think that Don Mancini can really play his cards right legally. If he does, he should, because Clive Barker, you know, the guy who made Hellraiser, he lost his rights to Hellraiser because lost him. They were taken from him through contracts to create Hellraiser. I love Hellraiser, although Hellraiser is a very different concept than Chucky, but he didn't own the rights to Hellraiser. But now with the new copyright laws and revisitation of contracts from back then, new moral clauses or whatever have you, he got the rights back for Hellraiser. So maybe Don Mancini can get his rights fully back as well. I mean, I don't know, but I'm just thinking. Something to think about. But here, that's a poster. That's a regular release of Chucky on Blu-ray. What else we got here? Ooh, then there was another release. Okay, now this one. I think yeah. This is an even bigger one. Same year, they really wanted to milk all our money, but they got all my money. So they released an even bigger box collection. Okay. The size is much bigger than, as you can see, this. See how much taller this is? Why? Because this is kind of a book form release. And then we had this release as well. Missing part 1, but it's a different artwork, and I'm going to show it to you. It's like a VHS type of cover, but in book form from Universal and Burn and Blood, but this is part 2. The artwork is just amazing. Also comes with the same exact, well, it doesn't come with the booklet, but it comes with the 2 discs. It comes with the Blu-ray and with the CD, like the other edition. So the CD has the interview, the texts read to you on CD, and the Blu-ray has the Blu-ray edition of Chucky. In this case, Chucky 2. So this one was made, this is very limited. 366 were made of this one, and I got copy 81. So it's different artwork. I mean, what are we buying here? It's the same movie. We're just buying different packaging. If you're a sucker that collects all this stuff, that's what you do. But the artwork is just so beautiful. We've never seen Chucky 2 artwork like this on a disc. So, yeah, Debbie, Clive Barker, a fine horror author. Very, very fine. Part 3. The alternative cover. This is Chucky Part 3. This one, also 366 covers made. Beautiful artwork. And in the back, we got a couple of shots from the movie. And this is the teenage version of Andy. This is a different actor, though, because our Andy actor was still too young. By the time they shot Chucky 3, they made it look like many years have passed, even though just a year or 2 had passed since they shot Chucky 2. So they couldn't have, obviously, the same actor from Chucky 2 because he was still a little kid. Chucky 4, Bride of Chucky. Also 366 copies made. Here we have the alternative cover. So this one is, does it say Bride of Chucky? No. So this one is with Tiffany on the cover, in love with her good old Chucky. She just put him all together, sewed him up, and turned him to life. We got the back shot as she is doing her... This is so funny, the moment there. I think it's called Voodoo for Dummies. Yeah, she's reading her Voodoo for Dummies book, and the Voodoo for Dummies teaches her how to bring a doll back to life. And we got John Ritter in here as well. May he rest in peace. John Ritter from Three's Company. Anybody remembers Jack the Tripper? Jack Tripper. Jack from Three's Company. John Ritter. He is also in Bride of Chucky. Great comedic actor. Then we have Seed of Chucky alternative cover. This one Also 366 of them were made. Cha, is it going to focus? Yeah. We got Tiffany being very, you see how doubtful she is? She's kind of sad because she doesn't want to kill anymore. And she's finding out that she has a child now. So, and Chucky's going all cuckoo on us. And this is the back. With Jennifer Tilly as well. Because Jennifer Tilly's playing two parts. She's the voice of Tiffany, and she's also herself. And Seed of Chucky does play with not just a duality of gender with Glenn and Glenda, but it also plays with the duality of film being fiction or reality. Because Jennifer Tilly plays herself in the movie. It's kind of breaking that fourth wall. Jennifer Tilly is herself. In the movie, she acts an actress. She is herself trying to get a role for a movie, and she's being very self-ironic. I really applaud her for accepting the role because she plays a role of an actress that is not getting roles anymore. So she's struggling with her career. She's trying to get a good role. So this is like a you have to have a very strong personality and character to accept a role like that, because in Hollywood, you know what they do to you. You know, once you're not really at the top, bye. And for her to be self-ironic about herself and accept this part is really a testament to how good she really is as an actress and how she doesn't take herself too seriously. So here we got Curse of Chucky. Hold on, because there's a sticker here that doesn't really need to be here, and it covers up the beautiful artwork of his first, I think it was his first Killing Curse of Chucky. This is such a cool poster for Curse of Chucky. Now this movie, unfortunately, doesn't get like the credit that it's due. It is a very, very, very good thriller, a very good whodunit type of movie set in a mansion. Highly recommend this one. 366 copies made. And then we got Cult of Chucky in the Asylum. This is a very interesting cover because this one gives us almost like a Hitchcock, you know, a very rear window type of vibe, when this one gives us more of a 2000s type of poster for a horror movie. This is kind of the original poster for Cult of Chucky, but this one is more Hitchcock, especially with all of the windows back there and the lamp. This is giving me very, very thriller a la Hitchcock, I want to say. Can't even remember. Is there also a cover? So these would be cover B. Now I wonder if there's also cover A. I think there is. There should be. I think there should be. But we don't know. But cover A, I don't think there is a cover A. But if there were a cover A, it would be the original covers that we know, you know. No, I don't think there is a cover A. It's just when you're so crazy like I am and you buy doubles of everything to collect open and unboxed, like open and sealed, then it all just, the beauty of it when it all piles up. So that's that. All right, now I've showed you my most prized possessions. Oh, actually no, sorry, I did not. Haha. There are two more that were just released this year, and it took me a long time to hunt them down. Let me show them to you. that would be this edition. Child's Play 2 and Child's Play 3. They come in this box. And then they're wrapped like this. Very funny, but I think they did it like that to protect them. But they do have their little sticker. I've unboxed these two. Okay, let me open them up. So these were released this year. I think they just wanted extra money, but the artwork was just so good. Okay, Child's Play 2. How gorgeous is this? The artwork for Child's Play 2. This is Chucky from Child's Play 2. This is the side and the back. This is the piece of art box edition. So you open it up like this. And inside there's a little sponge to protect the booklet. This is the back side that's usually here when there's a foil covering this, so you take this off. And this gives us the number. Okay, oddly enough, it doesn't say what it's limited to. It just says limited edition, but it says that we got copy 454. And inside, what is really beautiful, you get this artwork on the disc. But when you take the disc out, so you see Chucky's face, and then when you shift it, he's slightly different now. He's looking at Andy. So they went that extra mile to give us a different design on the disc. And when you move the disc, there's a slight alteration in the visuals. That's a cool one. I think it's a really, really cool edition. Of course, what is it? It's the same movie. But we do get a new booklet. In a mattified paper print. I like the quality of this paper. Some people don't like this type of paper. I do. It absorbs colors in a very muted way, which I think is nice. But to each their own. Paper, people who are into paper prints and quality, they could tell you stories. Every little variation of paper print, there are people who are really into that. I do enjoy sometimes a faded and muted print. I do like glossy prints as well, but I don't mind this one as an alternative to the booklets that we've had thus far, which are a little bit more glossy. Not glossy, but a little bit more glossy. So we do have texts, more explanations, interviews. I mean, they really, they worked on it. They really wanted to release something that has some sort of value. Andy in the school. This is the director of the movie, I believe. Mr. Lafia. Here is the doll factory where Chucky is made. Here they are, director and maker together, discussing Chucky. And here's Chucky being like, I don't want new. You don't do with me what you want, I'll do what I want. So this is Chucky 2. And then, of course, we also have, from this special edition, they made just 2, we got Chucky 3. So they didn't do all the other movies. They just released Chucky 2 and Chucky 3 with a special piece of art box. So this was Chucky 2, and this is the poster for Chucky 3. This is a scene from the end of the movie when half of his face gets chopped off in the amusement park. The artwork is just breathtaking. The artwork is by this artist, Matt Illustrations. And what's his name? MT Illustrations. I think I actually follow him on Insta. I do. Great artwork. He's a dude from America. Hold on, let me just take this. So this is the back of the little packaging. And also 454. Number the same as Child's Play 2. So when you do buy them, they come together in one box and they both have the same number. You don't get separate numbers. Like you get 454 of this one, 454 of that one. So they were careful to put the stickers on correctly. Okay, so the inside here, we have a scene from the beginning of Child's Play 3 or Chucky 3. With the crazy owner of the toy factory. And of course here as well, we have a little special effect. When we take the disc off, Chucky will be different. Hold on. All right. So let's see what happens here when we take it away. Boo. He just shifted a little bit. I mean, the artwork is amazing. Isn't it? Gary says this is less of a collection, more of a library. I know, right? So we got that, Chucky looking that way, and then Chucky looking this way. Little poster thingy, backside of the booklet, and then we have just as for part 2, part 3, black and white cover, which I think is super aesthetical to have it in black and white. Chucky upside down. This is a great shot. In the center, you have this typical, little military moment here. Andy is being yelled at by his superintendent cadet, or whatever it is. What a moment, right? What a moment. Andy as a teenager. So as I said before, when I was talking about the first episode of the series, we do have this coming of age teenager story in the series, and we do have coming out, the whole accepting of your homosexuality. It's, yeah, Debbie, it's enough of a shift to make it creepy. That's why I love it so much. They really went for it. They really knew what they were doing with the disc, taking it off and having Chucky just moving a little bit. But this is a different type of coming age story. I don't, Andy is taken to this military school just because he has no family, and this is kind of the state is kind of paying for this. And Chucky is still looking for him, and Chucky finds him, and he wants revenge. But you can't compare this teenager kind of movie with the show we're watching now, because I think. Also, bear in mind, Don Mancini did not direct part 3. Did he? No, I don't think he did. Directed by Jack Bender. This is from Universal Pictures. Don Mancini wrote it, though. He wrote the story. But there was no gay theme in this one. I think he was more free to do what he wanted to do by the time they gave him Seed of Chucky. He really went there. And what I'm a little bit sad about is that because Seed of Chucky flopped, a lot of people really, and I think Seed of Chucky still is way ahead of its time. I think a movie like Seed of Chucky is going to be recognized and acknowledged in the future. It's going to be one of those movies that it just is a cult, but people just don't realize it yet. And it's just way ahead of its time. But I'm a bit sad that Don Mancini had to backpedal, like after the movie was released. And after that, Curse of Chucky came out and Cult of Chucky. He said, okay, we're doing something else for Curse of Chucky. I heard the message. I understand you guys didn't like the direction Seed of Chucky is going to, so we're going in a different direction now. And I'm kind of sad that he did. Not that Curse and Cult were bad. They're amazing. But Seed of Chucky, that was a direction that no other horror movie went into yet. And it was way ahead of its time. And he didn't stick to his guns and say, well, this is the direction I want to go. He kind of backtracked. But I feel like he found an interesting middle ground with the series now, because we do have all those dualities that are so typical for Don Mancini play out in the series, at least in the first episode thus far, but without it being comedic. It's not as comedic as Seed of Chucky, because Seed of Chucky was really comedy horror, but at its best form though. So he did find a new language to work out his aesthetic and his writing, and I think it's amazing. The first episode is really great. Loving the colors, which are kind of, this 90s. Actually, this one, yeah, maybe it was still like late 80s. No, but I do think it's the 90s. I think it's in the early 90s it came out. So this is the chick that Andy kind of falls for in the movie. That's his kind of love interest. Chucky finds a new victim, because the story of this whole possession and voodoo and transferring of the soul says that basically Chucky can only transfer his soul to another vessel if that vessel doesn't know him yet. So the first person from his new iteration that he reveals himself to is the person that he can transfer himself into. But he has a limited amount of time to do that before it's too late. So he has to act very quickly. And the victim that he finds is this little boy here, also in the military school, and he tries to possess him and, transfer his soul into him. Obviously, it backfires because poor Chucky. And finally, thank goodness at a certain point, Don Mancini was like, okay, you know what? Like it's enough with all of this transferring of the soul. Like, let it be. Chucky can't always be just obsessed with exiting his body. There has to be more to Chucky than just that. And I'm really grateful that he went in another direction. This guy's totally cuckoo. The barber of the school where he cuts their hair off and everything, he's like, nuts. And of course, it ain't gonna end well for the barber. Spoiler alert. When he tries to torture Chucky, you best believe it, it goes down. So Chucky again kills the bully. Chucky is there to also avenge us from the bullies. So again, we have this, obviously back then they had to play more with what is evil, what is good. It has to be very clear, the separation between good and evil. But as time progresses, we realize that the lines blur. The lines blur quite a bit between what is good and evil. And Don Mancini is a master at blurring those lines. So by the time he did make Seed of Chucky, good and evil is not just it's just not a very clear line that demarks, that separates what is good and what is evil. So this was the booklet for part 3. It has this little sponge. They also give you the little sponge piece to put here so that the book doesn't wobble inside of this container when it's closed. And there you have it. So this would be Chucky 2, or Child's Play 2 and Child's Play 3, and it's limited edition piece of art release. All right, so let me put them back into their box. Okay, let me read some of your comments. The world wasn't ready. I loved it. Right, Debbie? I loved it too. I loved it too. You can support Dacob and send him. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Bubbles is like, you don't have to, but if you want to send a tip, you can send a tip through the link. For the love of Chucky. But you're not obliged, obviously. So let me close it. So this is the collector's box for that. You kind of have to cut this through and then you can open it. And this is the... I got, of course, needless to say, I got 2 of these as well. 1 to open and 1 is sealed somewhere in the Fashion Bunker archives. Okay,